are in the beautiful city of Philadelphia, and we'll be working with ACCT Philly. They are a big municipal open admission shelter, and we are here to help them get their dogs out of those kennels and get them playing together in big groups. My name is Amy Sadler. I am the Director of Training and Behavior for the Southampton Animal Shelter Foundation and the founder of Dogs Playing for Life. I'm very privileged because pretty much my job now is to run around the country and help other shelters just let their dogs out to play in groups. And in doing all of that, we end up helping with life-saving and adoption matching and helping rescues be able to pull dogs more successfully because they have more information. Everybody wants happy, healthy, social dogs, so we're getting that started with playgroups everywhere we go.
Animal Care and Control Team is the shelter contracted by the City of Philadelphia to perform animal care and control services. So we handle about a little over 30,000 animals per year.
Hi.
About 20,000 of those are cats and 10,000 of those are dogs with a couple thousand other animals thrown in. Our shelter was actually built on kind of an emergency basis because the former contractor that provided animal control from their own facility actually backed out of the contract. And the shelter was thrown together in a really hasty fashion by the city because they had to. They were really, their backs were up against the wall. So our facility for dogs is actually a large, what was formerly a boiler warehouse, and they placed kennels in it, and we don't have enough kennels mathematically to hold all the dogs we need to hold. In addition to not having enough space, the kennels are not designed for long-term humane housing. They're not the square footage that you would want, ideally, for a dog that was going to stay for an extended period of time. Pretty much everything that you could think about a kennel not being designed for long-term housing and the best possible care is what our kennels are.
Most of our shelters are overwhelmed by the sheer number of dogs coming in on a daily basis. There are not enough resources to cater to these dogs' behavioral needs when they're simply housing, feeding, and trying to keep these dogs alive for a certain length of time. The idea of a play group handles a lot of problems all at the same time. You can service many, many more dogs. You can get a lot more exercise than simply a walk around the block or two would accomplish. And you can then learn more about the behavioral stability of the dogs that you have under your care to make them much more adoptable in the long run.
What we've learned is that every shelter can do better by their dogs if they start out with a foundation of letting them play in groups. So that's why it became a primary focus of mine to run around the country and teach every shelter how to do at least this piece. Even with the best intentions to create a decent environment, being kenneled and being socially isolated from one another can create kennel craze and all of that behavioral deterioration that we really don't want to see.
It's very difficult to judge the true behavior and nature of a dog when they're frustrated and jumping on the kennel door wanting to be let out. So many people who go to a shelter, take a look, be overwhelmed, and leave. By implementing these play groups, you're giving the people an opportunity of seeing the dogs in an open area, in a much more relaxed and a lot more fun environment, and ultimately you get to know the real dog and learn more about their true temperament and behavior.
We're going to do the presentation first. It's about 3 hours, and it's really nitty-gritty on how to a lot of video in the presentation because we want people to be ready when we go out there and we're handling the dogs directly so they kind of know where we're coming from and why we go about it the way that we do. We kind of get them all juiced up to do it here, and then we just go out this afternoon, we start running dogs.
Thank you all for coming today. Today we have Amy Sadler here to show us about dog playgroups, and I've seen Amy do this in several places across the country. And it is an amazing thing, and if it's a program we can get to a sustainable place, what we're going to find is an increase in adoptions and a lot of excitement in the community, and the dogs are just going to love it. And it's going to be really good for all those that want to participate in it to really get a better understanding of how dogs communicate with each other. And I'm glad that all of you are here. It's a special day.
When I started to officially work with animal shelters in 1998, I was a professional trainer. But I didn't want to go into the shelters because it was painful for me. I felt terribly for the dogs in that situation. And then I realized how naive I was that I didn't understand that there was that much killing of the animals in the shelters. And then the fact that it was for supposed behavior reasons that to me as a trainer just seemed not fair and not accurate. And so that's what really hooked me to get in here. This is our team in Southampton at our shelter. The thing that's interesting to note about these dogs is that all of them, except for one, were all extremely on-leash reactive. This becomes challenging for shelter dogs, but this becomes so much easier to get to when you let them go play first. And that's the key to why these dogs could come working so nicely for unknown handlers, because they already got all the excitement and the fun of going to play together. It's just like letting kids go out to recess. You know, we let them bounce around, use their outside voices, bonk each other on the head, tumble each other, wrestle, and then we want them to come into class and be better behaved. I think that they do a better job teaching each other how to communicate like canines should communicate.
You really want it to be about dog to dog. So for me, as a handler, if I get in there and I'm kind of micromanaging them, they're not going to learn how to respond to one another the same way. Yeah. Poppy, enough. Poppy, enough.
This video is so silly. The things that you catch on tape, I'm telling you.
She does not like greetings.
She's like, I just don't want you to sniff my butt. Just not the butt. No, not the butt. The thing that's so funny about this is she doesn't want that backdoor greeting, which dogs do, right? So I would like her to just smooth out with that. And I think it would be kind of silly for me to bring her on a leash and try to make her hold still for a rear door greeting. Just let her be with normal, healthy, friendly dogs, and she'll just kind of desensitize and get used to that, and she'll be in a normal environment, and she'll just allow butt sniffing one day, right? Letting the dogs bounce around like that, I think, from my experience of walking dogs, you're gonna have to walk them for about 2 hours to get them to the same state of just satisfaction that they will get from bouncing around with the other dogs for 20 minutes. Where our goal is to cycle through your entire population while we're here. And we're gonna handle that harder, rough startup, and then we're gonna transition to you guys as soon as we've rotated the population once and worked on the smoothing some out. All right, so, anybody scared about just going out there and starting to run dogs and doing it?
Scared and excited.
Scared and excited. It's okay, we're gonna see a lot of it in action, and hopefully you're all feeling like really excited to get out there and do it now. They're gonna feel happier about it, you're gonna feel happier about it, you're gonna learn a lot more about the dogs, and you're gonna save more lives, okay? Typically, I just tell the shelter to start bringing us dogs because whatever picture we're seeing in the kennel, I've learned that that means nothing to me anyway, and I'm not gonna get any good read or assessment on the dogs in that situation. I've asked them to bring me what their best guess is at their social ones first, because we wanna go through the whole population, but I wanna find the easy social ones, because they're gonna help us smooth out the trickier ones. You can just drag the leash. Yeah. I was looking forward to meeting this one. I remember her, she looks super wiggly. So we're just kind of doing a quick assessment at the gate to see if anything looks tense or threatening, and if it doesn't look tense or threatening, we're just letting them in to meet. Go ahead and put her in. There you go.
Drop it?
Yeah, yep, drop it. There you go. Their energy's high, right? This is why startup is a little sticky. Their intention is to play. She's pretty bossy. You know, she seems to definitely want to establish herself. The red one, the female. This one's young. Now, I remember she had some strong eye, she had some vocalization at the gate, but that paired with her tail made me feel like she was just super, super excited. But I'm gonna give them a minute more. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is everything looks good, doesn't look like a problem, so he gets to come in. Ooh, don't you? They get to come out to play groups, whether they're spayed or neutered or not, and we monitor all of that. All the dogs will certainly be spayed and neutered before they're adopted out. So again, you see the energy, right? It's, you know, it's understandable that they're like, oh my God, oh my God. Like, we're really here, we're really doing this. And, you know, some of them are not gonna handle that well. Again, I feel like their intention is to play. If their intention was to hassle each other, they'd already be trying to do that. Right now, I wanna see dogs that wanna come in. There, just do something, no. Go ahead and switch him to somebody else. I want somebody that looks like they wanna come in. You know, he doesn't wanna greet her, so I'm afraid he's gonna come in and just clobber her. I want a dog that comes to the fence and is like, oh my God, I can't wait to meet you. You know, we've gotta find some of those. They're in there.
Oh, that wasn't wiggly.
Like her body language right there, if you look at her, she's got that wiggly, more of a wiggly butt. The ones that are coming in don't look so wiggly. That doesn't look wiggly. He doesn't look like he's gonna come in smoothly, so next, we need a wiggle worm. Safety is most important to us, so there's times if we're gonna let the dogs interact together, if some of them are gonna be argumentative or fight with each other or think they're gonna fight with each other, we're not gonna allow that to happen. This is about play and healthy, good social communication. He's trying to correct him and he's doing a great job, so we need to be able to tell them to knock it off, and we do that the least invasive way as possible. So we've got some startling tools. We use squirt bottles, we use shake cans with pennies or milk jugs with pebbles or pennies in them. Even if they come out frustrated in the beginning, we're gonna give them a chance to get to the good stuff. So we use these startling tools to interrupt the unwanted behaviors. There's all different levels and reasons why dogs are gonna fight. Sometimes the dogs just don't have their skills or they've lost their skills from being sheltered. There's just too much frustration, there's too much arousal, and they don't know what to do with all that energy. Their intention is to play, but they can tip into arguing because they're just wound up so tightly.
If you're using a deterrent tool or negative reinforcer properly, it is not inhumane or abusive. It merely is distracting the dog from the behavior to give the handlers enough time to come in and separate those dogs before a serious injury occurs.
Oh my God, cuteness! That's what I'm talking about, good one.
No one is suggesting that the kennel workers simply take a bunch of dogs and put them into a yard. That's not how this is done. However, for a minimum amount of training, you can show people what to look for, what to read in the dog's behavior, and how to make this an incredibly successful program with a minimum of effort.
Nice.
I'm learning about each individual dog, a little bit of information about their play style, just so I have that information for when we're running playgroup by ourselves.
Energy feels really high, feels tense. They could get cranky with each other. Okay, now notice how she's going to her mouth, right? But she's not biting down, right? So dogs need to use their mouths to communicate. So using your mouth, you don't get in trouble for using your mouth. You get in trouble for using your mouth aggressively, right? You don't get in trouble for using your mouth correctively, but you use your mouth aggressively, and that's what we're gonna stop. Let me just see if he looks like he wants to be friendly. Oftentimes when people ask for us, they're concerned about the dogs fighting. They're concerned about the safety to the handlers. So we're gonna see if this is possible. You don't know till you try. And we explain to them, you know, yeah, letting animals have contacts, things are gonna happen, but we're dealing with animals. That's what we do for a living. And things happen in our normal daily care of our animals. Nobody wants loose animals running around the kennel, but hey, animals get loose from us, right? Things happen. Nobody wants their volunteers bitten, and animals become afraid, and possibly people get bitten when they're trying to handle the animals. That's called handling animals. We need to look at the practical reality of what's going on, right? You have to take the context into consideration. And in sheltering, the sad part is if we do not attend to these animals properly, there's a potential that they will die at our hands in the name of sheltering them and in the name of being humane. Oh my God, he looks like he's gonna be gorgeous. Look, he's very handsome. Aw, see? See? Isn't that exciting? Did you guys see the full body wiggle that he had? Woo! There we go.
Playgroups are really fantastic. In addition to providing the outlet for the dogs to get the energy out, to feel good, to feel better about being in the shelter, it's also an amazing time for adopters and rescues to actually see the dogs. A pit bull type dog, a brown medium-sized dog who's next to another brown medium-sized dog, they all look the same in the kennel. They don't look like a dog who could be at your house. When you're seeing them in playgroups, they're actually acting like a dog that you could imagine playing in your backyard, playing with your kids, taken to the dog park. So that is a fantastic, not only opportunity for them, but an opportunity for us to market these dogs really well.
Yep. She's awesome. She is your rock star so far. I think that if this one is easy peasy with this female, if she's as loosey-goosey and great with this female, then to me, there you go. You've got your best breeder rock star we've had. We think that we found the best rock star in the house so far. That's Sheba. She just seems like she's just friendly and just playful and just likes dogs. Here it goes, she's gonna bust it out. We're so afraid of letting dogs be together and be dogs, but this is what's normal for them. What we do to them in there is not normal. So that brings out their worst. This brings out their best. So our rock star doesn't seem worried about her at all, right? Yeah. But isn't it interesting that now that you've seen her like this and a family came in and wanted to go to the dog park and everything, who's the first dog that's gonna come to your mind? Yeah, and she's a nice dog, but don't you feel like it's like, oh, she's really marketable now? Like you want to tell everybody about how great she is with the other dogs. It was great. We ran about 21 dogs, 21 down, and about 80-something to go. So I'm looking forward to getting through the rest of the population tomorrow. We did find one rock star today and then a couple of others that were pretty good. And we'll be rotating through the rest tomorrow and see how many more we can find. And then we're gonna see a group together, which will be really nice. We've been to over 70 shelters at this point, all over the country, introducing the playgroup as the foundation to really getting to saving lives. And one of my favorite shelters that we visited was Barks in Maryland. They've really taken the program and run with it. It's easy for us to identify when there's strong leadership. Jennifer was there as the executive director, and she was clear about what had needed to be done, and she was going to get it done.
When Amy Sadler came and was doing her training on enrichment, she started to really focus on playgroups in her presentation. And when she was doing that, I kept thinking, is she crazy? We can't do that here. You know, we have medium to large sized dogs. They have so much energy. It's hard enough to walk them. They're pulling us down the street. So the thought of putting them together in an area and allowing them to interact, I was completely shocked. I thought that was a crazy idea. And, you know, the more she talked about it, I recognized that, okay, there are benefits to doing that, and I can see that, but I don't know that that would work here.
I was relatively new to working in the animal shelter environment. Then when I started doing playgroups and found that most of the dogs really like each other, even if they have to work on their social skills, I thought that was one of the coolest things in the world, you know, to find out. Right? Yeah, come on in. So that's Angel.
When Amy Sadler was here training us playgroups, we were watching a lot of the volunteers and staff in these playgroups, and one person that stood out to us was Brian George. He was an animal care attendant, was cleaning and feeding the animals, but what we learned is that he really understood behavior.
I did it.
And so watching him in these playgroups, we thought he's the one that can really help us to take this program and run with it.
What's wrong, buddy?
We ended up getting enough funding to hire him as our enrichment coordinator, and he runs the playgroups every day.
No, I'm not a certified trainer or behaviorist. I think I have the innate and instinctual ability. Like, I understand dogs. And then also there's just loving dogs, you know? Right now I'm just assessing his response, all of the dogs' responses to each other. There we go. Seeing if he looks friendly and interested and so on. We'll let him in, we'll see how he does. Come on, buddy. It's really control. You have to monitor everything and then intervene when necessary, you know?
Playgroups are extremely beneficial because it allows the animals a chance to do what's natural to them, to interact with other dogs, to have that socialization, to really get out that physical energy that most of the dogs have. Being in a cage is not normal, it's not natural. So to be able to get outside and to do what they are meant to do, it's healthy for them mentally and it stimulates their mind.
Humans are the best trainers for dogs, but dogs are the best teachers for other dogs, the way I see it.
There's things that dogs do together that you can't replace by just walking them or throwing a toy in their kennel or giving them a treat. It's amazing to see dogs come out of their shell and how much they benefit, and actually how much we benefit too, because we learn more about their behavior by seeing them interact with each other and be just dogs than we can just walking them or looking at them in the kennel. So it's good for us and it's amazing for the dogs.
Some of these dogs are just meeting for the first time. They don't know each other yet. You know, the animals need people that care about them, you know, to take care of them. There is a big difference between just animal sheltering and animal warehousing. We are an animal shelter. We actually shelter and care for them.
The euthanasia rate prior to Barks was 98%. Pretty much any animal that came in was going to be euthanized. There just wasn't any focus on any kind of life-saving. So when Barks came in, we worked really hard on creating better adoption programs, doing everything we could to save lives, including adding programs like playgroups and foster programs. And by doing all of that, we've now increased the lives saved to almost 9,000 animals a year, which brings it down to a 23% euthanasia rate. Playgroups are very helpful as far as matching the right animal with the right owner. It gives us more information about that animal, their personality, how they do with people and other dogs. How are they outside with all these different noises? So having that information helps us to increase adoptions because adopters love to see that. They love to have that information because in a cage, you don't always know. Dogs bark a lot more in a cage. They jump up at the cage. They cower in the back. And you really don't get a feel for their personality. But when they're in these playgroups, you can see who that dog is and what they would more likely be like in your home. We do playgroups every single day, and we get out about 50 to 100 dogs from our shelter every single day. We cycle through them, and Brian just watches that behavior along with the volunteers. They monitor what's going on. If an animal gets too tired or is a little too riled up or doesn't have very good social skills, you know, they'll work with that animal a little bit, and then they'll take it back inside and bring in a new one. So it's just a rotation through the shelter all day long, just trying to get the animals out and get that exercise.
A tired dog is a good dog. They behave better when they're feeling good. Calm is what we are looking for.
It really has helped to boost staff morale and the volunteer morale because it's an exciting thing to do and it's nice to see the animals get out of their cages and enjoy life.
Yesterday, we've identified some of the social dogs, so we're piling them in this morning. And we're going to be circling back around to help some of the dogs that were turned away for looking a little tricky. So we've got our phenomenal helper dogs all lined out. And we're going to rotate the whole population today and let their staff and volunteers take over and be running their own playgroups. And we're excited about today.
I'm really excited for the staff that's going to participate and what they may learn here today and get their ideas of how we can continue this after Amy and her team leaves. And I'm also really excited to get the volunteers, get them re-engaged in this type of activity.
The volunteers did share with us that it could be a couple of days before a dog actually gets out of their kennel.
I just can't wait to see the dogs having a great time.
Excited to get everybody out here.
Yeah.
All the dogs out, that's big, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun.
It's different than what we used to. I love dogs so much. I'm just not used to working with dogs in a group. So I'm kind of like excited to be able to try that out.
It's scary sometimes walking through those kennels, it's sad. But it's gonna be great to be able to see them happy and doing what they wanna be doing rather than stuck in there. I think it's gonna really change perceptions.
Now I get an opportunity to run playgroup, so it'll be interesting. Cat was out. Basically, I've been keeping notes on the dogs, trying to decide what categories dogs might go in.
Ask your helpers if you need help backing the other dogs off, but it'll be a good exercise in getting him out and keeping it calm while you get him out.
Okay.
And you're taking the leash off, why?
Because I'm comfortable with her, and I think she'll do all right.
Awesome. Okay.
My plan is to have playgroup go on 3 times a week. I'm really excited about it. I've never had this many dogs in a run together. Do you want to get Cat? We'll be taking videos and pictures of the dogs as they're engaging in playgroup, and we're gonna take their notes and add that to their kennel cards, and that's gonna be a lot of information that adopters, fosters, rescues can use. If we can use this as the jumping off point to help get dogs out into loving homes, rescues, fosters, adopters, that'll be extremely beneficial. We'll have more open kennels, more time to focus on an individual dog, do some behavior modification work. With full kennels, we don't always have that opportunity. If we can help get dogs into homes, that would be great.
A lot of times shelters have, just like here, the yard is right out in the front parking lot. And so we've been watching people come in and out and observing the playgroups, and people are just watching smiling. It makes us happy to see living beings play. And the first question out of their mouths when they typically want to adopt a dog is, how is that dog with other dogs? Well, right now, before they even walk in the building, they'll say, hey, I saw a red and brown dog out there or a blue dog out there, and it was bouncing around really, really playful. I love that. Can I meet that dog?
We were leaving, and we seen her running around out there, and it was perfect timing because we seen her playing with the other dog. And if that was exactly what we wanted to see, was because we know our dog's interaction with another dog. So to see her playing, and they were roughhousing a little bit, but nothing dangerous, so it was perfect.
The white dog Lady that came out, there was a family on the fence line here that was observing, and they said they were looking at Lady in the kennel, that she seemed the most gregarious with their baby. They wanted to visit with her, and Lady was swooped out of there because she was being brought out here, and so they came out to observe her, and they were really excited because they have a dog at home. So that was, oh wow, she was friendly to us at the kennel, she's friendly with dogs. They did a visit while we were here, which was great, but it was nice that they got to see that interaction, and that just helped to seal the deal.
Tomorrow we're going to bring our dog to visit her, and she's got to get her surgery, and right after that, she'll be coming home. She's found a home.
Our long-term goal is actually to eliminate the euthanasia of savable animals in our shelter. We want to try anything that's going to have a positive impact, and the playgroups are really an important part of that for dogs. For any program, there are risks. The ultimate risk for a dog in a shelter like ours is euthanasia. So although there are risks associated with any program, any shelter that wants to explore a new opportunity should really weigh the risks versus the reward. And if the ultimate risk is death for the dog, then exploring every opportunity you can is really worth it.
I think we had a great couple of days. I'm happy for you because I think you're gonna have a lot more fun handling all these dogs. You're gonna learn a lot more about them. I'm especially excited for the dogs, but remember, this is your baby, So you can go with it now. You're ready, you did a great job. The dogs are ready. They're showing you, we can do this thing. We can do it, right? So just keep it moving forward, and you're gonna have fun with it. Everything's just gonna feel better all the way around.
Thank you so much.
We're getting to a new age of sheltering. We're not gonna have to be killing as many animals anymore. We're gonna be saving these animals, and let's make sure that we're maintaining them behaviorally and emotionally.
Thank you so
much. You did a great job.
Yay! Awesome.